Hey, it's Shirley B, and in this episode, we explore the parallels between plants and personal growth. Just as plants need sunlight, water, and nutrients to thrive, so do we. This episode dives into how you can nurture your mindset by planting seeds of change, finding the right environment, and giving yourself consistent care. Discover how to weed out negativity, embrace storms as opportunities to grow stronger, and let your inner garden flourish with love, positivity, and self care. Little steps can lead to big growth. So let's start today. So here we are at episode 11 of our podcast, number 2 of the year. I don't know about you, where you're at, but it's been dang cold here in the Northeast with not much snow, although there's a bunch expected tonight. So, isn't this the best time to talk about plants? Now, anyone that knows me knows I am the last person to talk to about taking care of plants. I've tried to keep plants alive at my home, and it's pretty much impossible. My son in law one time saw that I had succulents in a Christmas pot that I'd bought trying to make my table look nice and green for the holidays, and he said, and I quote, "It's really hard to kill succulents." Well, I thought, challenge accepted. And sure enough, one by one, those four little succulents didn't stand a chance. Now, what I've discovered that while I kill all other plants, I can keep growing snake plants. Those are the ones you can buy at a Home Depot or Lowe's, and in fact, I got mine from Home Depot years ago. They've got long leaves that come straight up from the soil and can grow many feet high. Some are light or dark green, some have yellow, some have stripes. And these I don't kill. And why? Because I've figured out that I need plants that need very little from me. Plants that are solid in themselves and just need a little light and water just once a month. And maybe I need plants that already have that mindset that we're trying to build on, where we find everything we need from inside us. And maybe those little plants find everything they need inside themselves, except just a little bit of water from me. But honestly, they're just not what I focus my time and attention on. Now, when I water them or walk by them, I do in fact talk to them and tell them they're doing great, and I touch their leaves and I let them know I think that they're just absolutely wonderful. I'll share a little bit about the science of that later, so you don't think I'm a completely crazy plant lady. So, Shirley, this is a podcast on mindfulness and making small changes to move forward. So, why are we talking about plants? Because just like plants, there are certain things we need to grow and thrive. We need sunlight in the form of love and self care. We need the right environment in the form of what we allow around us and what we take in on a daily basis. And to get you thinking about the fact that just because you were planted in a certain way or in a certain place, that doesn't mean you need to stay there, especially if the garden around you is full of weeds and it's just not the right environment to encourage you to grow and thrive. Think about it. If a plant doesn't grow, you don't blame the plant for not growing. So stop blaming yourself. You instead start looking at the surroundings and try to figure out why it's not growing, or maybe why it's growing wild and all over the place without any direction. You look at, did it get enough water? Did it get too much water? Did it get enough light? Did it get too much light? Is the soil that the roots are in not full of the right nutrients? So, too, we need to reflect on our own planting and cultivation of our mindset and growth. So instead of blaming yourself for how you were planted, realize that maybe you were just not planted in the right space. Maybe you don't have all the right nutrients to grow to your fullest potential. But just like a plant that isn't thriving, you can repot yourself. You can replant yourself. You can figure out what nutrients are missing in your life. You can add or remove what's not working. You can find more sunlight. You can water yourself differently with what you take in on a daily basis. So, all plants start with what? They start with a seed. You have to plant the seed of change. You've got to plant the seed in your mindset that there is a different and better way to grow. And you've already done that, haven't you? Just by finding and listening to this podcast, that can be one of those seeds. And once you have your seed, your thought that you deserve better, that you want more peace, now you have to let it take root. You have to become the right vessel for it to take root. by opening up your mind and trusting that good things can and will happen. You have to be open to growing and to thinking in a whole new way. You have to be open to knowing that growing will involve hard work and dedication to yourself, to grow new roots to your new potted self. You can't just water a plant once and expect it to thrive. You can't just fertilize it one time and expect it to grow to what it's truly meant to be. You can't just give it a bit of sunshine and then throw it in the darkness. There has to be a continuous process where you learn, adjust, enjoy the growth, and then rinse and repeat, as they say. So, what else does a plant and you need to grow? You need sunshine. You need positive energy and light around you, and you need to be in a space or garden where you get the right amount of sunshine. So, if you're in a garden where you're being overshadowed by other plants who care little about taking care of you and are in your space darkening up your skies, you have to think that maybe this is not the right garden or place for you to be. Or maybe you're surrounded by those who are not giving you sunshine or allowing you to grow. So, finding those people and things that feed your soul, that bring you light, and make sure they are in your space in your garden much more than the overpowering weeds. Because just like weeds to a plant, some people in your life can feel like they're encroaching too much with their negativity and choking the light right out of you. And they too may need to be weeded out of your garden. Selectively picking who does and doesn't get your energy, or who is and isn't allowed to have your time, is a form of self care and very necessary. Your time and energy are things that only deserving people should get of you. And don't forget to look at your own weeds. Negative self talk is one of the most common weeds that we all need to be very consistent about looking for, paying attention to, and pulling them when they creep back in. Because just like all weeds, you can pull them, but they seem to continue to grow sometimes. But don't weed too much. Some of our own self criticism can be healthy as long as it's propelling you forward in positive change and not constant rumination with no end in sight. But just like too much sunshine can harm a plant, it's not all fun and games and positivity 100% of the time in your life, is it? You have to have the rain and the storms in your life, and depending on how you take them in, they can be the surest sources of growth to you. Some rain and storms are there to help you grow. It helps you form deeper roots so that you can withstand more and more what comes your way, and you can then truly appreciate when the sun comes out again. And never forget, the sun always shines after a storm. The sun always come back around. So if you're in a rainstorm today, know that it will not last forever. So what else do you need to grow? You need nutrients, right? Maybe some fertilizer that has all the right nutrients added to it. So what can you use as fertilizer for your soul to help you grow, to help you keep your mindset strong and lay down those good, strong roots that help you weather any storm that comes along? Well, think about what feeds you, what uplifts you and recharges your energy, what just feels like it gives you life to your soul. My fertilizer and what helps me grow is one part getting good sleep. Not just enough sleep, not just enough hours, but good restful sleep with enough deep sleep that really helps your body recover. Restorative sleep that helps build your immune system so those roots will help you stay physically healthy. And enough REM sleep that helps with your memory management and emotional management. So, again, reinforcing those roots that keep us mentally healthy. I find fertilizer in making time to read every day and go for walks. Again, each of which can help us with physical and mental health. Making time for those in your life that share their love and light. So think about it. What is your fertilizer? And are you ensuring you have enough on hand for yourself? Are you making time for yourself to absorb that fertilizer? And remember, this is not a one time process. This is regular, ongoing maintenance to assure continued and sustainable growth. Now, I mentioned earlier about me talking to all my plants, and I'm telling you, it helps them and it helps me. There have been numerous studies that show talking to plants helps them grow, but not just saying anything, but saying positive things to the plants. Now, stay with me, bear with me. I know this sounds a little woo woo, but give me a minute. Studies have shown that with the same exact type of plant in the same exact soil, the same controlled environment with light, water, fertilizer, everything exactly the same, one of the group of plants would be spoken to with love and gratitude. You are beautiful. I love you. You are growing so amazingly well. The other group of plants would be spoken to in the exact same tone and decibels, but the words were different. You are stupid. You will never amount to anything. I hate you. And guess what? Spoiler alert, the plants that got the positive words grew much bigger in size. Their leaves were fuller and more colorful. So, how the heck does that happen? Well, if you believe that we are all intertwined, that everything that is living in the world has energy, I guess it would make sense that positive energy of love and gratitude, just like it does for humans, would help propel other living things forward. I mean, think about when someone has been kind to you, has said beautiful things to you and about you, how that makes you feel deep into your core. That is where your energy and soul lives, and it touches you just by these words. So if it's all about energy, those plants were getting the same thing. And just like if someone is hateful to you, is constantly negative around you, is tearing you down with words, you also feel that in your core and your soul, and you respond. And you not only feel it internally, but you shift physically. You hunch down, you become smaller, you become less colorful, like the plant, by not smiling, by feeling despondent. And there was an experiment involving a Japanese water scientist, Dr. Masaru Emoto, who tested emotions and words on the molecular structure of water. The study showed that while the water was freezing, if it was exposed to positive and loving words, the ice crystals formed beautiful and intricate patterns and wonderful snowflake like shapes. On the other hand, when negative words were spoken to the water as it was freezing, the ice crystals were dull and incomplete. So, just another example of how the energy you put out in the world and the energy you take in from everywhere can have a huge effect on your own internal feelings and growth. So, you see, I'm not some crazy plant lady. And remember from my podcast episode 7 about smiling and being kind and of service to others, even if that's a plant, it can also have a positive effect on you as well and can help your mindset remain more positive just by being nice to someone or something else. And also remember, you need to be speaking regularly those words of kindness and love to yourself. Self care and self love are the basis of your mindset being positive and the basis for your growth. It absolutely cannot happen without these. So become the gardener of your mind. Make sure you're doing a walkthrough regularly to see what's needed, where things are growing well, and where things are stagnant or being choked with weeds. Remember that growing plants takes time. It takes the changing of the seasons, it takes pruning and readjusting, learning what works and what doesn't. Changing your mindset and creating a positive mindset is a continuous journey and must be a consistent journey, just like growing and caring for a plant. You must be dedicated and committed to yourself, to your own self care, to pruning out those weeds, to fertilizing, and ensuring that you're a priority. By nurturing your mindset with positivity, self care, learning, and resilience, you can cultivate a mindset that will help you grow and thrive so that all areas of your life will benefit from your growth. So keep planting those seeds. And how about you help plant a seed with someone you care about by sharing this podcast with them so they too can recognize that they can be their own green thumb? Keep soaking up that sunshine, wait out any rain that comes your way, and embrace your journey. Become the gardener of your mind, and with the right care It will flourish and bloom, little by little and piece by piece. This podcast is based on my own life experiences. I'm not a therapist, a psychologist, psychiatrist, or any other licensed medical professional. Please share this podcast with anyone you think needs to hear this so that we all move forward, little by little and piece by piece. And thank you, Purple Planet, for sharing your music.